Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Pesich, co-producer for Beautiful Black Books, presented by Poetry Center San Jose, with host Santa Clara County poet Laureate Emeritus Tshaka Campbell. As part of the 10th annual San Jose Poetry Festival, we bring you Across the Ponds, featuring Black poets and authors from the UK and the US. BBB is a recurring program featuring Black writers in conversation, followed by a Q&A. It is a vessel of exchange as we bring Black writers to our communities and our communities to these writers to learn about their sources of inspiration. We begin today's program now with the following land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that Poetry Center San Jose and the city of San Jose exist on the unceded land of the Muwekma Ohlone. We recognize that the Muwekma Ohlone people are alive and flourishing members of the community today and recognize their right to this land, which they have stewarded throughout generations. We acknowledge that members of the San Jose community and residents of California and the United States continue to benefit from the use and occupation of indigenous land. We acknowledge that this land has come under the control of various entities through violence and dishonesty, and we recognize the history and legacy of colonialism that continue to negatively impact indigenous peoples, their traditional territories, practices, sovereignty, languages, lifeways, and well-being to this day. Donate to the Bay Area-based Sogoreate Land Trust, led by urban indigenous women. We will share a link in the chat. Whatever you can contribute is greatly appreciated. Now for a moment of silence. Thank you. A note about our support. Poetry Center San Jose is a member-supported organization and is funded in part by grants from Applied Materials Foundation, the City of San Jose's Office of Cultural Affairs, Literary Arts Emergency Fund, supported by the Mellon Foundation, Knight Foundation, Poets and Writers, Silicon Valley Community Foundation, SV Creates in partnership with the County of Santa Clara and the California Arts Council, and also supported in part by SV Creates National Endowment for the Arts American Rescue Plan grant. We also thank Brandenburg Family Foundation and Ann and Mark's Art Party for their generous giving. To support this program, visit pcsj.org/membership. Now to introduce your host, who will introduce our luminaries. Santa Clara County Poet Laureate Emeritus Tshaka Campbell has authored 4 books of poetry and is an internationally recognized artist and performer. He has won Grand Slam championships in a number of cities across the U.S. He had a project well achieved, in our words, is an anthology of youth poetry and visual art from Santa Clara County youth, and is part of a larger program that was called Bringing the Light. He currently resides in San Jose and continues to ask the world to listen different. Now, please give it up for Tshaka Campbell.
Oh, good. Oh my goodness. I'm blushing. You can't see it. It's like under here, but I'm blushing. Welcome everyone for joining the program. I'm super excited, not only because of the program and the guests that are here, but there's a selfish bit of Beautiful Black Books for me, in the sense that I get a chance to connect one-on-one with folks that I admire, folks that I love their work, that I love. And so it gives me that opportunity to sit down and chat with them and hear their work and share them with the community, and have the community see what wonderful people, what wonderful artists and human beings that are sort of in our world. Beautiful Black Books typically is an event where, as I said, we sit down, we have an interview. The folks read some of their books, some of their the materials out of their books for a couple minutes. But today, in honor of the San Jose Poetry Festival, I get a chance to fill the pot full with just work from these wonderful people. So just to kind of set you up a little bit, we call them across the ponds. We have folks from the UK poetry world. We have folks from the US. So in this sense of bringing folks together, I thought it was a great opportunity to put this program together. I'm gonna jump right in. I think our first guest, Black Atticus, Joseph Woods. He's with us. He's with us here today. Joseph Black Atticus. I met this brother as part of the Black Poet Laureates sort of group. When I became a laureate, I got a message from another individual saying, "Hey, here's this link." Now, you get any email from someone saying, "Hey, check this link out. You're concerned." But I clicked into it, and it was a group of laureates in the U.S., all Black poet laureates in the U.S. I had no idea there were that many. So it's a great community. But going back, I met this brother as part of this community. There was a event called Big Ears in Knoxville, Tennessee. I didn't think ever in my life I would ever go to Knoxville, Tennessee. But I got an invite from this individual, and it was a tremendous experience. But I'm not going to hold back I'm not going to hold him back any longer. I'm going to give an intro and then let him get on the microphone. So Black Atticus, Knoxville's fourth poet laureate. He's a luminary of a burgeoning Southern hip hop movement, emerges as a captivating voice celebrated for his unparalleled wordplay and lyrical prowess. As a prolific songwriter and dedicated hip hop practitioner, he employs his verses not only to entertain, but to elevate awareness, provoke critical thinking, and facilitate the healing journey between the mind and the spirit, the head and the heart. Currently reigning as the poet laureate of the city of Knoxville, Tennessee, Atticus is also the visionary founder of Po Boys and Poets, a platform that unites poetry and hip hop to create profound social conscious art. Moreover, he stands as a co-founding member of the influential Good Guy Collective. Good Guy Collective, I love that. A dynamic group dedicated to artistic elegance, excellence, and community engagement. So please welcome to the microphone, Black Atticus.
Now I'm blushing under the beard. I'm blushing now. How we doing? How we doing with the audio? We're good on everybody's end?
Yep, we can hear you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, it was thank you for the intro. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this and get a chance to meet other fellow creatives. In this particular word form, we are writers, appreciators of the writers, and I do believe word is fire. Water is dance, wind is beat, and word is fire. So I have just a brief intro. I've been a hip hop artist, lyricist, and poet for quite some time. I got my professional beginnings, under the guidance of Linda Paris Bailey in the Carpetbag Theater, which is the oldest African American theater company in the United States, here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And my mentors and woman mentors have always led me and my liaisons in art to the understanding that story is important, and that in building platforms for voices is key. That's how we keep growing and evolving as humans. So I'm honored to share my words. This will be a melody of rhyme, lyrics, and poems, and I hope you enjoy. Where to start? I know one place we'll start. She went from a park in the Bronx on the West Coast stomp, and she came down south, massaged my heart with her story. Spread the love, spread the love. She went from a park in the Bronx on the West Coast stomp, and she came down south, massaged my heart with her story. Spread the love, spread the love. I'm just a common, hungry hip-hop junkie, stumbling brass monkey, rumbling through this jungle. Brother Ali, Lottie Dottie got me digital like Bobby, Ronnie, Mikey, Ricky, Ralph, and Johnny. Heard somebody said hip-hop was dead. Then I'm a zombie, metal face, brain food sloppy, Ali Oxy, rockin' spree, Roxanne, Scotland rock for me, over broken glass everywhere. Fab Five, Fred Astaire, stunting like deadbeat daddy that was never there. Cash money blinging at my goodie mobbing deep in here. I'm never scared, forever here since 93 until in year. Harry Nappy at the root, tell the truth, y'all. Them black thoughts heard black sheep beneath black stars. Pour black milk over lyrics to black bard. Things fall apart, come undone, I get recharged. New school suspension, native tongue is now at large. So what up, hip hop? How you doing? It says she went from a park in the Bronx on the West Coast stop. Then she came down south, massaged my heart. Frankie Brown said, I ain't really feeling this tape. So I asked him, can I try it? And he said, yeah, you're straight. So I strolled home with this little red cassette tape. I popped it in, heard the blend, and was like, this is great. It's the Superman lover in your mother town. In my head, it echoed round. Turned my world around. I was cool with hip hop. Now I really love the sound. Never back it down. Catch me at the record store like, wow, it's 99, 99, now. Around the time they was bumping Snoop and Dre up in the trunk and only youngin' at the bus stop. Nickel bag of funk and really wasn't in the South-ish. Just couldn't get with limitless nitwit soldiers with no membership. Beat with hit, but lyrically they really wasn't killing it. My only wish around the time was just for something different. God gave the okay and they dropped Southern playalistic Cadillac bumping. Cause she went from a park in the Bronx on the West Coast stop, then she came down south and massaged that heart with a story. What's that piece? This first one. Yeah. It's kind of odd. I can see the clap, but I can't hear it. We're gonna work on it. It's all good. We'll make it work. But I am a practitioner. I got my poetic roots in slam culture, and any y'all been to a slam? Sure. So I'm really, really quite used to that, and it's fine if you feel like, I'm used to the woo, yeah, say something, stop, clap, speak up. I'm all with it, and they gonna throw me off. I'm quite used to it. But anyway, let's see here. As he mentioned, I am with a group here called the Good Guy Collective, and we do believe in not so much as the elements of hip hop, but we do believe in the principles of hip hop, which is peace, fun, love, and unity. And so, if you can't find that within the event or in the moment, then we're not going to be involved. Peace, fun, love, and unity should be easily accessible, right? Now we take that to most situations and areas of our lives, right? Okay. And so staying in practice of said such, today is the 7th of August, and in hip hop history today, Eazy-E was born in 1963. Yes, he was. Also, Slug of Atmosphere was also born in 1972. So that is our history for today for hip hop, and we're gonna keep on rolling if that's all right with y'all. I'm not sure the format here. Is it all good? I just keep rolling. We good? Like,
keep going. You got your time. Keep going.
Cool. I always thought it was funny how sun rays always manage to find our Kool-Aid stains and reflect them off our preschool faces. Through jungle gym swing sets and monkey bar blisters, we became invincible to cliches and the advice from our elders. Well, unless we thought it was funny, because funny means laughter, and laughter is perfect for every single occasion. Had our snag-a-tooth smile striking like weapon of mass jubilation, reminding us that somewhere between the potty training and refraining from responsibility, we had messed around and grew up, not old, just up from the holograms used to expand up our shoes as we did the Roger Rabbit dance to finally understand what mom and dad meant that whole time by saying, boy, you're lucky if you ever get a second chance. And if you get a chance, try and believe in that thing they call love. Like love until living is as easy as listening to Sade, Stevie Mugabe, Nina Ella, Donnie Hathaway. Wait, till it vibrates to your day like a big echo in small hallway. So I love you like mommy and daddy should have always, but it don't always work out that way. Now does it, baby? Sometimes love can be found in the veins of those who don't shed your blood, and sometimes you don't need your arms to give a hug until sun Tzu's moon glow, and freedom includes you until the day you pay me back. That money I loaned you means the day I could care less about some money I loaned you till they admit they illegally tapped my phone too. So nothing was wrong with our connection. We've all been roaming, surfing, searching for a perfection that has been resting behind our eyes this entire time. Our spotless minds shine eternally through our smiles till we can sit down and be blinded by them a while until time combines our style and we dare the world to bite it, to demand more bowls of life. Because like Mikey, we like it. We like it. Mama said love until Eeyore gets excited. That's a mighty long time. But now Papa turned around and said, now I'm gonna need your ass to believe. I'm gonna need you to believe until your hair stands on a handstand and you feel like you can't stand it. Till you get somewhere, drop the apostrophe T and tell me how you can stand it. Till there's no third world and the third rock from the sun of this planet. Till our president is no longer a descendant of Jed Clampett. Until you realize you are a fresh coat of change and tomorrow is your canvas and you two were meant to be together like peanut butter and jelly and sandwich. Until everything you've ever taken for granted is granted and all access pass into your utmost appreciation, to you're nothing more than a walking, talking, breathing weapon of mass jubilation. That's that piece. Thank you, thanks. All right, I'm gonna do one thing here. I'm gonna read this piece. How much time I got? We doing good? Okay, I'm gonna read this piece, but I'm gonna need somebody to let me know they can still hear me. Okay. Is audio still good?
Yeah, audio still good.
Okay. All right. One of my, in transparency, one of my early crutches in writing was I was always writing from a third person perspective through characters, and I will share one of the character pieces. And it took me a while to get to what most writers I've run across is I usually write from first person, and it took me a while to get to that point. But this one here, there's a couple dedications from first person, dedication to the women in my life who've always been extremely influential. The first one's called Bulletproof. Every laugh line in her face is bulletproof. Her smile is an artifact that redefines sacred. Her love made purpose, pride's permanent replacement, and filled the hearts of any and every soldier to march in and out of hell's basement unscathed. To this day, her praise rings of 7 centuries sinking into an infinite stolen moment of grace. Her eyes pierce from that state of understanding, that understanding of life from all sides of birth, all sides of hurt, went from backed by popular demand to wind up being banned from church, disbanded from worth, burned at stake, told her place, and definitely erased from his story. So when the tears in her eyes take shape in mine, I am blind to everything else but her needs, and right now she needs me to see. To be seized in that sea of everything she bleeds. To believe in that ebb and flow as she swings through her various roles of mother, sister, cousin, auntie, nana, nini, umi, omi, show me the way of a weathered rose that chose to be a goddess in tattered clothes, a mother on death row, a wife yet proposed to. For what ring could ever truly hold you when those hands spent countless days plaiting and twisting braids in some of the nappiest heads this side of the moon, till they eventually became immune to cramping. Those hands derived from a tribe of women who picked through venom for a living, from the orange groves in Florida to the peach orchards in Georgia. Those hands pulled down more than a living wage, picked manna from heaven on a daily basis, and on a daily basis they would snatch and snap the neck of every snake they would see in those trees with that bitch please devotion, whipped round forearm, cast down in one smooth motion, and kept picking. And I am certain they were serving as some full life version of your pastor's sermon on how to deal with your serpents, and it's urgent you learn how to love her. Love her for having hips wide enough to give birth to jazz. The households, carnivals, and Selmore Green to a front line of a few good men to a drum line of a few better ones were giving birth to quantum physics, 1,000 lovers' interest, to Zumba, Kumba, to black magic, to rumors. Love her for having feet worthy of following through the shadows of the valley of death on a graveyard shift from 6 to 3, then 9 to 5 with breasts big enough to feed and provide for tomorrow's dreams, legs to remind you that the journey can be just as enjoyable as the destination, thighs to remind you how full your heart should forever be, hair growing as if history's greatest mysteries were hidden in every curl, as if the answers were in the roots, giving lovers' fingers a chance to run through time. Ah, yeah, that's what they call divine, the definition of divine. See, the sun only rises sometimes to seep itself into her sweat, into that bead of sweat that gets to taste that ride down that journey known as a neck. This is why the universe envies you. And that's one. That's that one. I can't hear the claps, but I believe they're there. I believe them. We're going to go with the next one here, if y'all don't mind. This one's called It's Mom. Flashback. All right. When you talk back to your mom like that, I get flashbacks of backs. She said, do this, but you did that. I get flashbacks of backs. I remember how the summer sun rays were charming their way through every blind in the house that day. How they were kissing their way across hardwood floor when Mama said ever so calmly, boy, shut the door. I remember birds were chirping, lawnmower working, feeling for certain that I'd be okay this time. Mama just a little upset. She'll talk to me and everything will be just fine, not knowing at the time my cuteness had finally ran its course and that I had apparently crossed the line with a little too much excessive force. I'm talking went so far south I wound up north and she caught me at the border with a fake passport and 20 pounds of no good reason to still be breathing after doing exactly what she told me not to. And I can't remember the crime. Can't remember what I did. But I do remember my brother was playing outside with that extra for freedom and pride in his stride, because this time it was nowhere near his fault. I remember the taste of salt, how time slid came to complete halt, complete stop. I remember the world spinning through an array of gradient scales of gray as that belt swayed with influence. And that buckle jingled. That buckle jingled, a jingle that'll never make its way to a multi-platinum nursery rhyme single, for it mingled with way too much purpose. It dabbled in too much reckoning, and I reckon at the time I understood why she shouted. I understood the path of wrath and tried to reroute it. Tried to take what she absolutely knew to be true and somehow make her doubt it. So, yeah, I lied about it. And soon as I lied about it, I knew she knew I'd lied about it, which only made it worse. It was like the boy was casting spells that only worked in reverse. I whispered thinner, I feel thirsty. Problem was I didn't know exactly who I was talking to at first. Just thought I was talking to Mama. They realized I was talking to Francine, that I was lying to the daughters of the first generation of making their way out of Nathan without having to weigh in on a plantation. I was lying to Rosa, lying to Aretha, to Coretta, to Nina. I turned to run, but that journey had taken too long. See, the whole time, all along, Mama had been powering up. She was now able to move all the big and heavy stuff with a simple brush of her hand, like, oh, damn, looking hard as Ice Cube in 92, ready to bust a move on any nigga with attitude, any nigga acting bad, any nigga talking trash. Mama dropped a beat on my ass like Grand Master Flex. And how I went to sleep. I went to slumber. I woke up in the under. I seen scores of others who disrespected their mothers, only to discover that this was a rite of passage, a passage to the right. See, some had to be grounded for 40 days and 40 nights, so grounded so long they forgot what the sun looks like. But see, me, I was the type that had to pass out to see the light. And I was there. And when I arose, it was to the aroma of love swooning off the stove on a plate of something great in a space at the table. I was feeling more Cain than Abel, and before I was able to say my grace, Mama felt the need to get a few things straight. So she said, hold up, wait. Now, son, me and your father, we love you. And we don't do anything to you out of anger nor hatred, but out of a basic sacred concern that through this journey called life that you actually make it, through every twist and turn, through every problem and plight. So when I see you in common sense acting like strangers in the night, it don't quite sit right with me. I can't take that line down. Not when I'm bound by my God to make sure that you know the truth. Not when the good Lord has charged me to raise men and not strange fruit. So no, I can't play aloof or act like what's the use in trying. So when because see, that would be me breaking my truths with Zion. I ain't about to do that for you. But I will tell you what I will do. I won't raise you in these mountains and not teach you about its lions. I won't send you out in that brush and not show you which plants are poisonous. Everybody in this life's gonna have danger, but best believe it'll be a little bit more for us, especially if your skin is as black as that baby in the manger, skin black as the steel on the rifle of them rangers. You gotta know what the aim is to make sure you don't survive. To make sure you barely strive, that you live that lie and don't find joy when you play outside. So please realize that a hard head will make a soft behind. You're living on borrowed prayer and borrowed time. And while you're living in this house, I'll be damned if you waste mine. So say your grace, eat your food, and go to bed. And when you talk back to your mom like that, I get flashbacks of backspacks. She said, do this, but you did that. I get flashbacks of backspacks. That's that piece. Thank you, please. Thank you, please.
Thank you so much, Joseph, Black Atticus, all the other adjectives that describe how powerful your words are, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you were able to grace us and kick this off for us. Your energy, everything is just, it's so deep rooted and so guttural. I appreciate you what you do for this craft. So please, anyone who's listening, please put your fire emojis, your number one, your fingers up, all of that in the chat to show appreciation for Black Atticus. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So next, we're going to go across the pond, and this soul. It's, you know, I'm always going to have stories. So this is one of the stories, right? It's just. I remember being at an event in the UK, and you know, there's always people around and folks are buzzing and you're meeting and talking and things like that. And myself and this individual, we've had a number of conversations, but not conversations that there's, how do I say this? You know, when you talk to someone, you're having a conversation and they're pulling you in. And then something happens, you got to leave. And I was always running back home. Needless to say, I wrapped that all up by saying, I've been, you know, secretly stalking her. Not now, you know, but to see this growth and to see sort of the voice that has grown out of this individual, I'm super excited to hear more of the work today and dig more into it. I'm super excited to share her with everyone else. So I'm going to jump in to Jamelia. Jamelia is a British Jamaican poet. I was going to do something really cringy like Booyaka, but I won't. I can. All right, I can, because I'm Jamaican as well, so it wouldn't have been appropriation. Anyway, British Jamaican poet, writer, facilitator, and creative director. She founded Writers and Scribes CIC in 2013, an arts company that disrupts the meaning of art, where it belongs and who it belongs to. That is so fantastic. Like, that is, you know, I always say what we should be doing is putting stuff in a washing machine and shaking it. We're supposed to agitate.
Right.
A London, let's, if we can, there we go. Mute a little bit. A London Writers Award recipient. She was shortlisted for the Rebecca Swift Women's Poetry Prize and the Bridport Poetry Prize. Alumni of the Watering Hole in South Carolina and South Carolina and Callaloo. She has continued to hone her craft, most recently as the holder of the MA Poetry Scholarship from the Poetry School. Her work has been commissioned by Google UK and appears in Magma, Poetry London, Poetry Wales, and elsewhere. She won the 2023 Poetry London Pamphlet Prize for her debut, Grey Coats and Nokia Phones, which is an ode to teenagehood. I have one. Yeah. Detailing friendship breakups, first crushes, pirate radio stations, and MSN. I'm so excited to bring Jamelia to you and to hear the work. Please welcome Jamelia.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's here and is joining us. I feel so blessed to be part of this festival and have the opportunity to read from my pamphlet. So nice to hold things that have your name on it. So I'm excited to share with you all. I'm going to set my timer because I'm not running over my time. Okay. But I'm going to start with the title poem of this pamphlet, Grey Coats and Nokia Phones. Today you beg to be finished with this era of childhood, finished with the shades of dull and the boys on push bikes outside your window this morning. You find an old cigarette in the inside pocket of your coat, put it to your lips, pretend your mother called you a different name, whispered it into soil, grew a girl as rebellious as Japanese knotweed, spread widely, determined not to be cut, roots too thick to be plucked into pretty or passive or purity. Your stems are scattered into wind, so you gasp into daylight, hoping your mouth will burst open a song to rid you of awkward waiting, watching, wanting to age fast, to feel seen by the boys on push bikes who gather like prayer meetings on Tuesday nights, even in the rain, who utter prophecies in new era hats on grime beats. Even they have learnt the necessity of a name change. You swallow hard like Jenna behind the bike shed, take the shortcut down the alley in the dark because you are wasteful and you cannot grow breasts. Even your womanhood is ignoring your calls, yet you find men who are puzzled by the fear in your brow as they chase what you hold between your legs. Don't make eye contact with the devil, though he stares, promising to grant wishes. Run. Don't tell him your name. All right. So yeah, this book is literally an ode to my teenagehood. So you're going to learn a lot about who I was from the ages of 14 to 17, probably. This next poem is called After Dark. And it's about being unsupervised because that's the favorite thing to do when you are a teenager. Moonlight spits on our foreheads, reminds us she is disgusted with our lewdness. The frayed fire rips in our jeans, sass blowing bubbles out of overworked gum, swaying hips to rap beats pumping from parked cars. We are twisted defiance. Nokia ringtones pulling us towards the shape of mouths, beckoning us home. We prefer to hide. Seek alter egos in estate labyrinths, learn the accent of flirting, summon trouble with the smack of our lips. Something is moving. Among us, the darkness coiling around our wrists. Gemma jumps in a Honda Civic. I try to remember the number plate, just in case. Tomorrow, we will make a new language from this. Retell our antics to the girls smoking on park swings, creating halos around our heads. Okay, cool. And now I'm taking you inside school. I went to a girls' high school. This poem is called Double Science. Gemma, you sit across from me in the science lab, your hair freshly braided into 8 straight cornrows. You look at me, only a Bunsen burner between us. The loose hem of your knee-high sock grazes my calf. We haven't spoken since it happened. I look past you to the board, focus on chemical reactions, hope today we will get to do an experiment. I tuck my legs in, Try to quiet the thoughts that have persisted since last Thursday. Our bodies pressed against your bed after school. The others were supposed to be there. Can't even remember how we ended up alone. Your mum out upstairs for the first time in your room. You suggest a film. High Learning? I'd never seen it. It will be years before I see the end. I'm unprepared for the intensity of the script, the racial tensions gripping my throat, the date rape, my body shaking violently till at one point you asked me, are you all right? I'm not sure what you want. Then I realized what I've somehow always known. You're Taryn. You want me to play Kristen. I watch them. You watch me in a bedroom very similar to yours after class, they kiss. I feel your breath change, get closer, hotter, one hand on my elbow, the other under my chin. Everything is blurry and I can't breathe. I find excuses about the time, gather my things, burst into 4 p.m. sun. I don't want to out you, so I tell no one. Say nothing. Nothing happened, I repeat to myself, over and over, while Miss puts alkali metals in water, watches it burn. All right. So I decided I want to read some new poems as well. So these are going to be exclusive to you lot because I haven't read them anywhere else. So I am from a Jamaican background. I grew up in a Pentecostal church. Church finds its way into my poems a lot. This poem is called Pentecostal Hymnal, and I've stolen words from the hymn, What a Friend We Have in Jesus. What a friend we have in MSN. Love heart emojis after our name, an ever-present version of self we type out to unsuspecting others. Here, we hide our beliefs in Jesus, turn ourselves into sexual beings, this chemistry lesson of burning, wanting all our sins to kiss each other on the lips with tongue. What's a snog without darkness? Pinch lids of being grown, a language of lust and griefs to write about in our dear diary entries as breasts bud beneath cotton. Bare with our slanted innocence, smudged purity, just a tip, just a sip. Parties in living rooms, bare feet on tables. What a privilege to see the sun rise above estate blocks. Shove shame into your sister's miniskirt. Wait for a night bus to carry your secrets back to familiar streets. New numbers thumbed into Nokias. The boy arched over the windowsill, his eyes a dare. He is ready to hold everything except blame. His arms around your waist, whispers on neck bone, gives you greater shudders than the Holy Ghost. What will you say to God in service? Didn't he say it wasn't good for man to be alone? You want to be somebody's son's Eve, somebody's spare rib, somebody's answered prayer. Okay, the next poem is called Bad Daughters, after Lola. Bad daughters twist the truth, exaggerate when necessary, know the power of their tongues. Good daughters wrap their voices in cute mason jars, leave them untouched and on display. Bad daughters hopscotch with obedience, write their own laws, leave them under lampposts and on the walls of dark passageways. Bad daughters don't know any French except kissing under stairwells. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Good daughters carry their world in leather-bound filofaxes, are always on time to appointments, enunciate their sentences. Bad daughters wait for the turning of the wind, follow their guts into adventure, no better than to apologize for being. Good daughters, never inconvenience, always sorry, always people-pleasing, always smiling. Bad daughters empathize with Judas, as if they know what it is to make a bad decision and never be worth forgiveness. Good daughters, maxi skirts and modesty. Knees together, feet apart, handbags and straight posture. Bad daughters, batty shorts and sprawling, sig tugged behind air, top short enough to show off a tramp stamp. Bad daughters meet other bad daughters and form a union that resembles a biker gang. Get custom leather vests with an emblem that reads Born Bad. They hold monthly open days for good daughters ready to convert. And thank you for listening to my newness, guys. Cool. So I'm back to the book. I want to show you this one actually, if it will show up. So it's in a circle and it's surrounded by words that just say fight, 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 fight all around it. It's called Fight. 3 o'clock. When the bell rings, you push your weight against the table with both palms, drag your feet down corridors, turn up your shirt collar, peer into the gully of music class. She's not there, but you know what time it is. Traipse up the hill, steady your chest, a war is coming. You hear the messengers flapping their beaks in the freedom of 3 p.m. behind the bus stop. A mob of red jumpers collects on the same worn grass you encountered a flasher. They're rubbing her shoulders, giving pep talks of, don't have it, and you can take her still as she throws herself around. They push you into the ring, drop your bag, reminds her that it doesn't have to end like this. She won't want to talk. You tried. Plant your feet, summon a growl, throw it at the spectators. They're all betting you lose. Quiet girl with buck teeth and glasses. When you tell her to halt the baying hounds, it's not out of fear. She'll waste precious time removing earrings, motioning, come on then, come on then. Adrenaline shapeshifts the afternoon. The clouds are watching. Let her hit you first, so it's fair. Then release your fist cleanly into her mouth again with the same hands that braided her hair on your bedroom floor as you cooed over silly crushes, hoisted your boobs, made pacts with baby fingers knit tight into friendship. This is not the first time you have lost a sister. Friendship breakups. Okay. I got 2 more. This one is called BFF. We had plans, scribbled in gel pens, passed in notes across the classroom, rushed origami folds of our teenage dreams. Zoe's mum is dead, mine alive and annoying, so we share her, declare ourselves twin sisters, telepathic, giggling over tiny cheese sandwiches, making chatterboxes out of notebook paper. Zoe picks purple. I spell it with pinched fingers. Number 5. We count. Peer into our homemade mystery ball. 8, she says, as I peel open her truth, reveal her fate. Our beauty may fade, but our friendship won't. We are too young to vow away our future, too in love to think of anything beyond lasting forever. Okay, my last poem is called And If We Start Again. Race me to the corner of our favourite chicken shop. I'll spot you. 4 wings and chips, clang coins on countertops. Box it off on the walk home. Talk about novel plots, notebooks, and what Jane Norman outfit we'll wear to the party this Saturday. We'll sit with our backs against my four-poster beds, giggling about our boyfriends, my hi-fi system playing Choice FM, making up new nicknames, secret passwords, and handshakes. Your friendship is a portal that leads me back to myself again, where I'm not afraid to dance to the random beats in my head or confess I've never been kissed, bunked a lesson, smoked a cig. We stand back to back, comparing our shoulders. Your puff gives you an extra 2 inches, but I don't complain. Instead, I let my weight lean into your spine, yours against mine. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that work. My friends are dope. That's all I'm saying. Just so y'all know out there, my friends are so dope. Thank you so much for the work. Thank you I just kept thinking as you were reading the parallels between sort of growing up in the UK, growing up in the US and anywhere in the world, and how those things are parallel and things that I'm scared of with a 14-year-old coming up. But all that being said, it was your work is so beautiful, and I'm so honored and humbled to be able to sort of hear this growth and just hear your words out to the world. So thank you again for being part of this show. Wonderful. All right. So now we're going to jump from across the pond, jump from across the UK, bring us back into the US with a Dr. Donnie Jackson. This gentleman, I don't think I have the words to talk to not only who he is as a human being, but what he does with words, what he does with emotions. There's probably another word for emotion that's like on a higher frequency. I don't know what it is, but he has that. He writes to that. I'm so excited to share his work with the group here and the larger group going forward. But before I gush too much, I am going to go into his bio. So, a lifelong poet, Donnie Jackson also holds a doctorate in clinical psychology. You have to be a writer, I get, and is an Emmy and NAACP Image Award-winning documentary television producer. As a spoken word artist, Donnie has featured throughout North America, including Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, the legendary Nuyorican Poetry's Cafe, Northern and Southern California, and internationally in Toronto, Canada. In print media, his poetry has been featured in multiple anthologies, including The Broad Across Us, an anthology to end apartheid, Skin to Skin, a publication for women and the LGBTQ community, Incandescent Mind, La Bloga's Best Poems of 2015 and 2017, Redshift 5, and In Isolation, where he was a prize winner for his pandemic poem History. Donnie's one-man, multi-character spoken word play, one-man show debuted at the Greenway Court Theater in 2013. His spoken word play, Salam, 10 Poems About One Thing, premiered to a sold-out house in the LA Get Down Festival in 2019. Donnie's debut volume of poetry is Boy, by Silver Star Laboratory, 2020, the album of which is currently streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and Amazon Music. On additional recordings, he is a featured poet on one of my spoken word albums called Skin, and with Ursula Rucker and Jidane Vida. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but he can tell us. Acclaimed Deep House album, Wonderlust. And I gotta tell you, this is not as part of the bio. He just dropped an album called Fatherly. And your life needs this. It is an incredible piece of work. as odd, and I know there's a couple of writers on this Zoom now, and that we'll hear about this later on. But I think we all have these places that we write, these environments that we create for ourselves to write to. Sometimes I write to music, or sometimes I write to listening something. This album is going to produce so much work from me. It's just fantastic. So when you get a chance, it's on all the streaming platforms. Cole Fatherly, we'll drop some more in the chat. But without further ado, I am going to bring on my friend, my brother, Donna Jackson.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. And I say thank you, but I'm still mad at you for making me follow what I just have to follow. First of all, you start in Nikki Giovanni's hometown, and he's blowing up stuff. And then we go across the pond and she's tearing my heart apart. So yeah, you're nice words, but if you were nicer, you would have had me first. But it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to join you. I'm a fan, and I love you, and it's great to be a part of this collection of poets and listeners. So I thank you all for being who you are and where you are right now. I will begin with I'll begin with a poem that's on the album, and it's who the album is about. My dad, who I'm named after, and the poem is called Donald. It wasn't as if I had forgotten my father was a veteran. It's just that the war that allowed him to be called that was a story he didn't tell, and therefore a smaller battle than being small and too black before too strong was the thing people added to it. And also welfare poor in the knit of him, even though he stopped being even that, because what makes it a war is that it's hard to take off, which is why I didn't think of him as a veteran of one of these things that they agree a war is for. Until at his funeral, soldiers folded a flag like they do and handed it to his wife, not my mother, but his wife, whose idea it was that we should remember he was that kind of soldier too, which made that my favorite idea of hers ever as his wife, not my mother. And it's the sound of only gloved hands folding fabric while everyone in the church tries not to be a soaked sponge, one squeeze away from flooding through fingers. And as firstborn, I am one of the fullest in the church, and the soft pat and ceremonial lie of the America being tamed into a triangle by clean white gloves and men whose fathers were not even born when my father was. And more dangerous the smaller it gets, and the uniform is not as sound anymore as the skin of an animal, growing smaller as it gets creased into a weapon that a wife, not even my mother, must hold close to her chest. So she is the first person in the church it kills when its fold is finished and its quiet explodes in her hands. My job as his son in this church is to remember everything but say only the right thing. And I'm good at that, even though I don't want to be, which is not like being good enough at it sometimes. So one of the things I don't say is the time he took me to the second job he had for a while, because the post office didn't pay enough to keep me in Catholic school, to keep my smart from becoming dumb in a closer school. And although not being Catholic in a Catholic school sometimes made me feel dumb about something I didn't feel a need to be feeling dumb about. But anyway, the second job my dad had, after a full day of his first post office job, was cleaning offices in an insurance company. And he wanted me to see where he was when he wasn't home, like some dads can be after school. And I didn't really care, because now I was somewhere I didn't want to be. And just like he was, except it wasn't my idea. And yes, this is how dumb I was sometimes, and couldn't blame Catholic school. But the thing I remember and can't say at his funeral was how the man who hired him who my dad was proud to introduce me to, clearly did not want me there, because I made my dad suddenly not as invisible as people who clean offices are supposed to be. And because my dad was a kind man, he did not see what I saw, which was his boss smiling at both of us, but blinking like a switchblade. If you imagine that switchblades were probably invented by impotent men, and there is no flag that gets folded for that. And although it is a war fought by more men and longer than most wars, because most wars, even the longest ones, still end. I can also remember, but I can't say, one of those things about my mother, because my father's wife, who isn't his first wife like my mother was, is in this church full of sponges, and I will not be a tight hand today. So I will not say, but I remember in a way that I have not become yet, because even though I am older than my father was when he had already become it, which is that time, and by that time I mean so many times when my father looked at my mother like he knew full well that the air was war, and that the two of them, both of them, were insurrection. And knowing that I am not that yet, and because I have not had to be as much as he was, and because he was, I don't even have to be, is the only time in my life when I want to scream. And nobody in my family, not a one of them, knows that I have scream in me, because I am the doctor, the Hollywood, the poet, and what could I possibly have to scream about? And they sit knowing I will speak without squeezing, and I will probably say something that they will repeat in this story that they tell about my father. And I wish they would say more about him than what I will say because of him, because war should stop when you die, and your death, for a minute anyway, should only be about you. So I breathe, and I wear my breathing like a robe, and I know it is dramatic because I am the one who doesn't breathe like the rest of us, and I can't breathe anyway, and I can't help breathing this particular way because I am like the rest of us, but nobody knows it. And there will be no flag for it, and there shouldn't be, because my father deserved a flag, so I would not expect one. And they, my family, expect diamonds from my mouth, because when have I not been a mountain of pressed black, making it not look like war? But I am standing above my father in the only way that could ever be true. And I know however jewel I am about to speak, I will be a tossed egg splattering into this church, cleaned up by sponges who squeezed anyway because they were ready to. And they will all miss a spot where I am left golden on the floor, flecks of white floating like strewn seeds, but no, maybe stars, but still seeds then, in an undiscovered universe where life will flourish, simply because I was not a mouthful of diamond, but a boy whose father taught him how flinging into the possibility of cracking wide open is how to come home alive from war. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you all for indulging me. That's the longest one I'll read. Everything else will be shorter. Moving on. This is called Megan the. The most satisfying kill is using a weapon formed against you, like when they call Megan a stallion, a male horse with its sack intact. Because calling a tall black woman a human type beautiful was too much to ask. She said, okay, I'll be a stud, getting rich off my juice. Badu in 1690 said, damn, y'all feel that? Then Megan decided, therefore, I'm patriarchal. No, wait, repeat after me. I'm a bad motherfucker with the backhand. For her next trick, Megan pulled a wet-ass pussy out of her father figure black girl magic. A gasp is a sudden intake of the truth. But then Megan said, yeah, this nigga Tory shot me. She didn't name names before because of all the names named so far when somebody called the police or when the police called themselves. She said, yeah, I tried to save this nigga. And this is the anatomy lesson of a black woman. Because no matter how much you father, you do not get to forget that you are first and always a mother whose job it is to take care of all the babies. And if there's a tall in some kind of way black woman present, then everyone else will be the babies. But doesn't she want to be a baby sometimes too? Be the softest face in the room, be still, have no words, yet doesn't she want to say your heartbeat is the only night I know? Can she let her hand be too small to carry anything but the other hand? Can she feed from a taking in that is hers and hers alone? Can her dreams spill upon your chest? Can her sigh be a creek that passes through the forest of you? Can you name her name and just her name in it? As if with closed eyes, as if so grateful on your knees, like how you speak to God. Thanks. All righty. Thank you all for listening. This is a short piece called Cherchez la femme, Search for the Woman. Courtney Love's song Doll Parts has a line in it called that says, I want to be the girl with the most cake. Indigenous girl says to black girl, where is this place? Black girl looks at brown girl like it's her turn. Brown girl says, we call it bottom because black girl plus brown girl say there's no place lower than nobody looking for you. Oh, indigenous girl says, I used to live there before I didn't live anywhere. How about you? Black girl says, the police said I probably ran away like that was enough not to look for me. Brown girl says, the way a man can hold your wrist tells you not to scream at the bus stop. Yeah, indigenous girl says, my throat was a wrist right before this. But why did you say nobody was looking for you? Brown girl says, because we would hear screaming all day like you can't at the bus stop. Mothers, black girl says, just scream into their blood until it kills them. Fathers, brown girl says, in screams they can't make with the mouths that kissed us on our forehead. Indigenous girl looks at her hands and says, wow, we're just bones now. Brown girl looks at black girl like it's her turn. Black girl says, yeah, we're all white down here. Black girl plus brown girl say, but it's too late. Thanks. Thanks. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this piece called "Still Life." When you ask me how I'm doing, I have to tell the truth, which is me saying, "Okay, I am a target." And what today is the plan for that? Because every day I have to have a plan for that. And today, like any other day of a target, might be the last day. So today, my plan for that is to say yes to being a target, and especially yes to being the nature of target. In other words, to not move, because moving isn't what true targets do. They wait to be aimed upon and fired at and hit. Targets are not meant to move. They're meant to be hit. I will not resist being a target today. I will be unmoving and risk being hit because I'm empty of move these days. I am completely out of run. Because some people think the nature of target is to be stopped from moving. Yes, Achebe reminded us, until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. And he could have been talking about targets too, who don't get to tell the story. Like, well, yeah, okay, it's still hunters in this case too, I guess, who get to say what targets are. But you know what? No, I am specifically not a hunter, but I am telling the story today anyway. Like I said, true targets don't move, but the way I'm going to don't move is different than freeze, like the hunters sometimes say. Even when you couldn't possibly do anything else because of chokeholds or knees or already fired, my don't move today is because it's you who ask me, and I don't want you to see me run or be hit because it's you who asked me. I am saying my don't move today is to be a rest on a page of sheet music, which I'm declaring today is sheet music, the possibility of song. In the case of today's sonata, for two instruments, me, you, I am not moving because I am a rest. That part of the sonata, which is, yes, made of movements. See what's happening? I am a rest. That part of the sonata where there is a silence next to a note that makes the note more note than it would have been without the silence next to it. This is how I am. Don't move today, for you especially. For when you ask me how I'm doing, and I can say I am not moving and I will not be hit because I changed my mind. I am not a target today. I am the quiet part of a song for you, the quiet that makes the song more song. I am not moved. I am not fired upon. I am not hit. I am not target. Come, don't move with me. Thank you. I will. I'm gonna conclude on joy, because some of this other shit was depressing, and I don't want to end on depressing. I want to end on joy, and so that is the name of this poem. Thank you, Tshaka. Poem is called Joy, and with that, I will say good afternoon. I'm clear about this part. It's the laugh. You jumping into it, a room full of plastic balls. You jump when you laugh. You jump into the catch of a room, into the glee that there are plastic balls. You jump into color when you laugh. And this won't sound right, but it is an unburied, your laugh. The embedded piece freed, as if someone was original Lucy Bones looking for it for a long time. That piece, an ancient looked for, that explains the beginning of you, and where I'm stupid is thinking the silly that brushes you clean is what you want me to see, and not the you, the looked for bones, but found amber instead, holding it alive, and it's still for the reveal of it. You laugh like you know what to say, golden, laugh like amber. You are trying to tell me to press my head to your earth. Dig where you laugh when you show me where you are buried. Your laugh is older than those who birthed you. It carries who you are supposed to be. They all see you. How could they not? But nobody has been looking for you. Amber, you. I am here to look for you. I want to look for you. I am here to see your eyes as a dislocated night, wandering but not lost. A diva darkness born to dress in stars. I am here to look at you as you liquid tighten around me so I don't forget you are tea. A shrub loosed from the ground that learned how to swim in heat. Your fingers, aren't they the thinnest monks, and quiet on me, so the last thought before I sleep is yes, she could lay heel on me. You know how when somebody means to draw a circle but stops short and leaves a gap, and we all know what it is still, well, you kissed me almost circle like that once, and I vowed to teach us both we owe ourselves to complete a thing. So here perhaps we are. It is not too late to tell you. When you plastic ball, jump, laugh, amber in my day, star-dressed woman, young. I could weep until tomorrow wakes to a new ocean and asks you what name you've picked for me. Thank you all. Thanks for letting me listen. Thanks for letting me be heard.
Man, I don't even know what to say. Thank you for honoring us. I told y'all before we started, so it's not like you weren't warned. Dude, thank you so much for sharing with us, for breaking language into pieces and then putting the puzzle back together again. I love you for so many reasons. Wonderful. And for everyone, please, everyone that's read, when you get a chance, go check through the chat, because you are all getting your flowers as you're reading. So next, we are going to go back across the pond, and this soul, this spirit. There's so much to say about her, but I'm just gonna leave it with this. Sometimes you walk into a room and there's a vibration, right? And you don't know where it's coming from, but it's like one of those radar things. As you walk around the room, you feel like it's getting closer and then larger and then larger, and then you end up at wherever this person is sitting. She's just amazing on so many levels, and I'm a better person for having her in my life. That being said, I am going to the intro. Tolu is a storyteller, an artist, one of my dope freaking poet friends. That's not part of the bio, but I can I can put stuff in there because it's my show. Storyteller and an artist working across poetry, theater, film, and photography. Author of Locating Strongwoman, published in 2020. She hosts the Unlearning Strongwoman Podcast. Films directed by Tolu have been selected and screened at Toronto Food Film Festival in 2022, Museum of Food and Drink, New York and Forecast International Festival in Berlin in 2021. Alongside lecturing at London Southbank University, Tolu supports the development of emerging writers through mentoring, editing, and has designed and facilitated several creative courses. Her work is concerned with the unperformed self and deconstructing received narratives, particularly on womanhood, race, and social justice. People, get yourself ready for an incredible human being. Thank you so much, and give it up for Tolu.
Thanks, Tshaka. And thank you and Rob for inviting me to be on the program this evening. I'm not quite sure why Donnie mentioned earlier that he couldn't go behind Gems, knowing that he was about to kill us. And I would have to follow him. But here I am trying. That was ridiculous on too many levels. My body is still not quite here yet, but I'm gonna try and get into this. I write a lot about women, so I am gonna start with a happy-ish poem on women to get myself together. This is called Museum of Women. Praise for the mothers, their love like an expensive scrub, scraping away what is dead and what needs to die, soothing the afterbirth. Praise for the sisters who show up without needing to ask what's wrong, arms full of plantains, portable joy, who swathe your body before it can fall apart. Praise for the women who write books about women, who challenge us to live beyond survival. For the girls whose stories incite renaissance. Praise for all the women who chorus groans when the truth is too heavy for words. Artists quietly molding, mending, retouching me into a masterpiece, even when I don't yet acknowledge that I am still under construction. If I ever told you I made it this far alone, I lied. News stories across the world in the last couple of days, particularly about women, have been gruesome. Whether I'm thinking about the Pellico case in France, or I'm thinking about Chapter J in Kenya, or, I mean, the stories are just not great. And when I think about the things that bring us together around the world, sometimes, unfortunately, it's the unsafety of women in spaces where they should be safe. This poem is called Precision Matters, and The epigraph is a newspaper byline which says, on the 4th of November 2018, a Black woman in Georgia was found dead in the backyard of the home where she'd been at a slumber party the night before with football moms. And she was the only woman of color in attendance. Poem goes like this. Take the word beat, give it an entourage, watch its meaning change. They beat me down as in to strike. I was beat as in to be exhausted. They stared the body down and laughed. We'll beat this, as in to overcome. Your husband did not like those girls. He told you they did not like you. My spirit don't take me. You insisted he was wrong, didn't understand. On 4th November 2018, when the news reports began, you were bound to become a lesson for Black girls. Be careful who you cling to. Take diacritics in Yoruba, not a loud friend like an English homonym, but a presence, a shapeshifter. I write oko as in bush, or did I mean oko as in husband, or oko as in hoe, or oko as in stone? 3 of these could kill you. 1 would hide the corpse. The next poem I'm going to read is called Of All My Attributes. I like to binge reality love shows. And on some of those, sometimes they ask people, so why do you, especially men, why do you like her? And they say, oh, she's so strong. And I hate the answer because I'm like, what exactly do you want to say? And there's this whole thing about sometimes it's the person who is calling you, not the thing they're calling you, that makes all the difference. Of all my attributes. My father says a name is a thing you grow into. In his mouth, my name is prophecy. It is praise, white flag, music begetting joy, his dimples announce and my smile confirms. My christening was his first elaborate show of love, maybe his first warning, to listen for who calls and by what name before I leap to answer. Broken and scatterlimbed on the bathroom floor, a sister lowered her body next to mine, draped some of its weight over me, pressed my palm into hers and said, cry now, but tomorrow we make other choices. Together we get through this. She was Jesus, and I was Jairus' daughter in a sleep others called death, rising with a deep knowing that her power had become my own. You, your face playful, lips plump with charm. You said, I love my women strong like you. Your words straddling threat and compliment. If not for my father's legacy awakening the small voice within, I would have melted, would have fought intuition again, but my future stares me in the face. It's not the name, but the one who calls it that gives it power. Strong in your mouth bristles my skin, feels like primer for an obstacle course you create, to test my skills to be both wound and bandage. From the seat of your laps, I glare at you and say nothing. When my lips do move, I hear them say, take your curse. I send it back. My next poem is called Close Your Legs. It goes like this. Should a small girl in Akure sit legs wide open, elders around the country will find their voices. Close your legs. Don't you know she will feel some part of herself bristle and lack the years to process the throb spreading from her chest and beating under every pore. She does not yet know she is taking up space, won't understand that the world begrudges her this power, They will wrest it from her grasp like vigilantes catching a notorious village chief. She will learn. If a mother doesn't teach, then by dint of another voice coated in disdain, strange hands slapping the flesh of her thighs together or dragging her dress down, scornful eyes accusing, you should know better, she'll learn. A good girl keeps her legs shut in a dress where panties can flash like lightning, in skirts, but also when she sits in blue jean shorts. And they say the gape between her knees can suggest an invitation to men old enough to father her. When she grows old enough to ask what words the elders have for men who conjure meaning from fantasy and neglect the facts, the elders will demand if she cares for family, for honor, for values, for morality. No one explains what these words mean. They'll insist her legs must only open so far or betray a looseness that sticks like a bad first impression. The questions they hurl in response to her questions sting. They drop them on her head like a market woman's produce. But she is not a market woman, not even a girl who sells. And when she complains of the weight, they add more rules. A girl should, a good woman must. This is how she learns to borrow shame, to carry it, like some wrong she did when all she ever wanted to do was climb a tree, straddle a plastic horse, or recline with whatever ease her body begged for, and with no one's permission but her own. The discomfort curdles in her stomach. She keeps her mouth shut at all costs, with two hands if necessary, or else a wretch might overwhelm her. And what then about honor and family values on the day when she permits the confusion to explode into words? Thank you. This is called On the Semantics of Loss When the Identity of a Killer is at Stake. The children did not lose their lives the way a toy car is wont to slip from a toddler's hands. They did not lose their lives the way your best earrings unlatch without warning. They did not leave their lives lying carelessly on a motorway oblivious to traffic. They did not misplace their breath the way you hide safe the prized possession you now can't find. They were involved in no accident or incident, no mistake. When one bomb after another lands on specific targets in Gaza, the children have their lives, and then they don't. The friends we lost. We waded without thinking into the blood of too many dead children. You did not look back to see who you could save. You joked about the plagues God sent on Egypt as if the children were atoning for some unspoken sin, as if the hands draining their blood were doing holy work. Laughter no longer visits our conversations. Who will teach us how to return to who we were? My last poem, I'm also going to try and end in something a little bit more light. So every now and again, actually I shouldn't say that, but yes, every now and again, you know, there's some eye candy around and you think, well, damn. But you know you should not go there. And perhaps your friends warn you not to go there and you say, of course not, I know better. This poem is the What Had Happened Was poem, and it's called Nothing Happened. the epigraph for this reads, I drew a line. When I went further, I drew a new line and then another line. And it's from a Toon Telegram poem. 1. My car was broken. His offer was my safest option on a starless night. I didn't ask for the beach detour. I tripped into his humor, into the mesh of his vast knowledge. Nothing happened. 2. I wanted to talk. I knew he'd understand. Didn't expect him to hold my hand in the brazen sun or quicken my breath without invitation, not in the middle of a bustling market. Only words were exchanged. I staggered backwards when his lips tried to mingle, I swear. I even deleted his number. Wait. I blamed the moon, how it lit the navy blue of his uniform, set the stage for his bright white teeth, primed the copper of his skin just right. I blame God. The Almighty was admiring his handiwork, the beauty of him, his confidence, the authority in his stride. I had no choice. I too just watched him work. Nothing happened. Well, we hiked to the end of our breath, behind the tall grass, just to see how far we could go before sundown. It was just the once. And now he calls. I lose my body in the pool of his chest. But I'm learning how to swim. I am. Thank you.
I just keep saying I got such dope friends. Such dope people. Oh, thank you so much for this food. I think that we all needed. I'm so glad that we're able to that I was able to share all of these lovely souls with the community, and the community with these lovely souls. I'm bubbling at the moment, and honored and humbled. Thank you so much, Tolu, for your words, for your song, for your soul. So we've got a little bit more time. Last time I did this, I got in trouble because I didn't do a poem. But for me, it was more around like, if there's time, because this is about the individuals I'll bring to the world. But there's a couple of minutes later, so if it's okay with you guys, I will do 1 or 2 quick ones. Yeah, and just before I go, thank you all for being here with us. Someone said, Tshaka, give us warning next time. No, I will not. I will drop fire on everyone just because we need to. Anyway, I'll jump into a quick poem. This one is called To the Boys Whose Bones Lie Where No One Visits. The 8th grade substitute asked the class, how many of you have friends your age or younger that have been killed? All but 2 raised their hands, followed by who has visited their graves since? All the hands lowered. So to the boys whose bones lie where no one visits, you are not foregone. Your persons are our footsteps in retrograde. We have not burned the altar that holds all your names, even the ones that your killers lifted off your corpse in death. It's not you, but how familiar graves are to our blood, or maybe it's the itch of freshly cut grass and the smell of decaying flowers that our quivers resemble. Either way, we've not left you. Even as you turn to soil, even as you become fertilizer to the ground that embraced your last breaths in life, we've seen too early how crack and destiny attack the body firsthand. In death, we know your bones will crack as the soft collagen inside them deteriorates, leaving nothing but the brittle mineral frame behind. And we've seen what's left over from boys who rigor mortis into their dead fathers too many times to frame, which triggers us. And you are more than just frames. in frames hanging homes, and that too is triggering. Death in and by triggers is triggering by default. So here where the shores are pavements and smells like sulfur, where the memories linger in the horizon like waves of chalk dust to a freshly smudged outline in fetal, you are not forgotten. And to those that are scattered in places that have never felt the soft of laid flowers, to where bones are buried unknown and blameless, the ones unearthed 100 years later without names, huddled in mounds of forgotten service, be it to war or suffrages, gang, or neglect. Those that are so easily moved to cast it out of mind. We remember you in the sounds that wake us at night, souls crying out for recognition, the trust that somewhere beneath the slumber, we know that your atoms are circling the same blocks you once called your home. We will homage you in our dreams till we can one day escape all the triggers and the pain enough to visit you in flesh. Thank you. That is that one. And then really quickly to round stuff out, so I'm trying to finish this book called, I don't even know what it's called, but it's for my daughter, but I've been writing it for years. And I've been trying to give myself permission to write some of these poems for her, with her, around her. Anyway, this one was conjured by a quote called, and I don't remember where the quote came from, but it was, "That's what's been mistaken as gift was taken by sacrifice." And it's called How to Journal, or Black Peacock, or Little Girls Need Their Mamas, or something. I don't know what it is yet. Anyway, it will come one morning. She will see the shadow and recognize it has her scent. She can now faintly hear the hiss and crackle of boys tracing her frame. Till now, it was only white noise. She wasn't yet taught how to work this into her prayers. This part comes too fast. Wasn't told about the craving that would prey her. That Ethiopia saddled her face in ways that twilight holds the moon, and her hips were housed to still water. And mosquitoes like still water. And mosquitoes like to bite and trade in plasma, like her lips, red, full, not yet properly transacted. Eternity in this new body would make it stick. How can it be unstuck? Is there a way to be peacock without the bloom, just a little bit longer? She will look deeply in the mirror and purge the features that her mother held for her in heartbreak. She will wish she was nothing again, that she will wake each morning missing. These men see too much of me. Mama, please. These men see too much of me. Mama, please tell me what to do, because it hurts to be this woman I am now being told to tame. All right, that's all. This wasn't about me, but I wanted to share some because I got flack last time. But anyway, going back to the wonderful, to the enormous poets that have had blessed me with being part of this program. Again, and you'll hear me say it multiple times. This is a forum about sharing these artists, these Black artists, with the community, with the world, and then the community being able to share back. So I urge every one of you, find their material, find their books. If they ate a bag of potato chips, go get the potato chips and frame it, like whatever. Find a way to be in contact with these folks, because as you know, and as you've heard, it changes, and they will change your perspective on multiple things. So I'm just honored and humbled, and thank you all for joining us. Again, give it up for Joseph Woods, Black Atticus. Give it up for Jamelia. Give it up for Tolu. Give it up for Donnie Jackson. Give it up for Poetry Center San Jose, Rob Pesich, who is our fearless sort of head at the helm, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, making things happen. Again, there's a ton of things happening for the San Jose Poetry Festival this weekend. If you are in town, please join. Some of the items are going to be online as well, so please get involved in that. It's a beautiful experience. I think, again, bringing community to poetry. There's poetry to community, but bringing community poetry is what we're trying to accomplish here. So glad to be a part of it. I won't hold you up any longer. Thank you for joining. For the folks that joined us today, thank you very much for spending your Saturday afternoon, evening with us. For the folks from the UK, I see y'all. I see some of these faces some of these faces, some of the names that I recall. I miss you and thank you for joining. Chatting. All of you have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for spending time with me and my dope ass friends.